Coming up in sports, why I'm outside the House of Blues, joined by quarterback Curtis Rourke and defensive lineman Kai Caesar. That story when Newswatch returns. But Sean Clifford responded here on the 7-yard line with this one right here. He fires one over the middle to find his man to extend the lead to 3 scores going into the break. Those in the industry's biggest concern is breaking down the stigma. Ohio esports director Jeffrey Kuhn explains the real-world application of a space like this going beyond just the games on the monitor. But tonight, quarterback Curtis Rourke had no trouble doing that. He opened up the field for the Bobcats for huge chunks of yards. That's when Ty Washington and this Wildcat team bared their fangs, going on a 9-0 run. One Ohio basketball alumni is $33,000 richer after winning the basketball tournament's 3-point contest. Even on a slightly cloudy day, we still got a pretty good turnout here at the pool. You're absolutely right, Mata. Wheelersburg could not be happier to be back in Ed Miller Stadium. And in typical Berg fashion, they're off to a hot start. It just took a long road to get there. After their Week 1 loss against the Ironton Fighting Tigers, the Pirates have been across the map. Week 2, they packed the bus and took a trip 113 miles to take on the McNicholas Rockets. Their next 2 are across state lines in Kentucky for a total of 322 miles traveled. In that time, the Pirates righted the ship going 3-0, but tonight they had a tall task against the Jackson Ironmen. With the rapid rise of disc golf, you may recognize this sound at your local park. Kendry Sampson says he decided to make the growing game part of his retirement plan.
And I was looking for stuff to do, and I came up with this idea that we could buy some property in the country and I would put a disc golf course in there.
The former Ohio University professor says it took a lot of elbow grease to shape the property to his vision after he bought it 30 years ago.
You could not actually step off the street in shorts at that time, anywhere. What we're sitting now was dense underbrush. 30 years, these trees now are 30 years growth from what was just total scrub.
The Hippo Ridge course is now one of Ohio's top rated, according to the disc golf app UDisc. And it brings players like Nick Robinson out for multiple tournaments a year to show off southeastern Ohio's natural beauty.
Blew me away. Beautiful property. I think it's like 80-some acres out here. Felt kind of like a paradise a little bit.
Sampson says it takes about 10 hours a week on a mower and more hours in logistics to pull off a tournament like the one this past weekend. But he says this work he started 30 years ago has paid off ever since Hippo Ridge opened to the public in 2008, in both growing the game and making new friends.
The players that come here are some great highlights, and that's the ones that are here today. Some of them are people I've known for a long time, some of them I'm just getting to know. There's a guy on the course I just met 2 days ago.
A retirement activity has morphed into a disc golf heaven in southeast Ohio. For Newswatch, I'm Ayden Crowley in Athens. Week 1. The culmination of all the sweat from hours of practice and a chance to prove what kind of team you are. For 2 teams, that moment is elevated by a storied rivalry.
Beat Ironton on 3, 1, 2, 3. Beat Ironton!
The Wheelersburg Pirates and the Ironton Fighting Tigers have clashed in Week 1 for over 2 decades, always playing a physical and emotion-fueled game. Ironton head coach Trevon Pendleton says he wouldn't have it any other way.
Yeah, there's no better way to kick off the season, in my opinion. We don't like them, they don't like us. Make no bones about it. And come Friday night, we're going to turn it into 11 individual battles, and we're going to go to war.
Since 2000, Ironton has the edge 13-11 in this matchup, but Wheelersburg has the last laugh. In the regional semifinals, the Pirates upset the 1-seeded Tigers after scoring 14 unanswered points. Senior defensive end Jacquez Keys says the Tigers have been ready for another shot.
We've been waiting on this moment, for a while. And what happened last time, we ain't forgot. And we coming to get revenge. And we out here putting in work, and we'll see them on Friday.
Wheelersburg senior quarterback Eli Jones says the Pirates will have a target on their backs.
Hey, you know what? They're going to be out for blood this year. They are going to bring everything they've got, and we've got to be ready to step it up here and, bring our A game.
It's been 280 days since the playoff game and 4 years since Wheelersburg have hosted the Tigers. Pirates head coach Rob Woodward says all the anticipation has built up to this moment.
And that's what you want. That's what we live for. That's what life's all about, is those moments that make your hair stand up a little bit. And you go out and you attack those moments and you embrace, using the tools and things that you've learned. And we're excited to see our guys go out and showcase that.
Both teams will be under the lights at Ed Miller Stadium Friday, with kickoff set for 7 p.m. For Gridiron Glory, I'm Ayden Crowley in Wheelersburg. The Ohio Bobcats traveled for the first time this season for one of the biggest road tests in America. OU entered to the boos of over 107,000 fans packed into Beaver Stadium. The Bobcats punted on their first drive, so enter veteran quarterback Sean Clifford. On 1st and 10 from the 15, Clifford says, "Let me do it myself." He breaks away and dives for the pylon, but not so fast. He's marked a yard short, and Clifford can't believe it. But on the very next play, Penn State punched it in as the 24-year-old QB finally gets the Nittany Lions on the scoreboard, 7-0 PSU. It wasn't just Clifford getting involved. On the next drive, true freshman Nick Singleton gets to the outside edge, and once he's out there, you are not catching him. He takes it 70 yards to the house to extend the lead to 2 scores. Disaster struck again for the Bobcats with 13 minutes left in the second. Pinned after 1, Curtis Rourke and C.A. Bangura have miscommunication on who gets the ball, fumbling it in their own end zone, resulting in a safety as things were starting to get ugly. After a Penn State field goal, the Bobcats had their backs against the wall, but they were able to string together a couple big plays to make things interesting. At the Nittany Lion 1, Bangura makes up for the fumble, powering his way past the pylon. That Bangura touchdown made it a ball game for the Bobcats, only trailing by 19-7, going late into the second half. They just need to get off the field, but Sean Clifford responded here on the 7-yard line with this one right here. He fires one over the middle to find his man to extend the lead to 3 scores going into the break, and head coach Tim Albin says it was deflating for this Bobcat team.
And our defense is their backs are against the wall, and just gave them a short field, and they punched it in. But I would say that was a huge momentum in the game for sure.
That play was all the momentum the Nittany Lions needed going into the last 30 minutes. Penn State outscored Ohio 20-3 in the second half with a well-balanced attack. In the end, Penn State proved to be too much for the Bobcats to handle as they dominate Ohio 46-10. For Bobcat Showcase, I'm Ayden Crowley.